Hello and welcome to Crowforest Reviews. So you remember that one time when Buffy Summers faced off against a living puppet? Yeah, that. This is Buffy the Vampire Slayer, The Puppet Show. So the episode opens with the tryouts for the school talent show.
Long ago, never to walk in anyone's shadows.
Or rather, the talentless show.
Into every generation is born one who must run the annual talentless show. You cannot escape your destiny.
So Principal Snyder overhears Buffy mocking him in the talent show, and so he decides to make Buffy, Willow, and Xander participate in said talent show. Even though, or possibly especially since, they all said that they would rather have detention. Which really says something about his talent show. So they watch as the next contestant comes to the stage, carrying a ventriloquist dummy. And Buffy wigs out a bit.
Ew, dummy.
I think dummies are cute. You don't?
They give me the wig, ever since I was little.
What happened?
I saw a dummy, it gave me the wig. There really wasn't a story there.
The ventriloquist is completely terrible, not even trying to hide his mouth as he talks. But then, suddenly, the dummy turns to the guy and starts talking, mocking the guy's terrible ventriloquism skills, making the whole thing rather a clever act.
Hi, I'm Morgan. And I'm Sid. Hey, Morgan, I didn't sleep at all last night.
All right, time out. Let's stop this before someone gets hurt. Kid, you are the worst. Even I can see your lips move.
Hi, I'm Bunny.
You're terrible at this. That's not even what I sound like.
But what makes this scene even more clever, at least from a meta perspective, is that it seems to be an homage to a scene from an earlier series, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, only the act has been perfected. In that episode, Sabrina's Aunt Hilda has a ventriloquist act, only instead of using a doll, she uses Salem the cat, who can talk. So Salem would say something, and Hilda would move her lips, making it look like she was just very poorly ventriloquizing rather than that she had a talking cat. But watching that episode, I was struck by how much better the act would have been if Hilda had incorporated into the act a bit where Salem made fun of her poor ventriloquism skills, making it a funny standout act instead of a boring, poorly done act. And that's exactly what Joss Whedon has done here. He's done an homage to an earlier work, but made it better. But that was kind of a long aside. So, anyway, where were we? Oh, right. So after the auditions for the talent show are over, a girl is killed in the locker room by someone we can't see. Could it be the killer puppets? Nah, probably not. So the body is found the next morning, and they discover that the heart has been removed.
Her heart was removed.
Yikes.
Does that mean anything to you? Besides,
No, pretty much just you. That pretty much covers everything. The crime scene techs find a bloody knife at the scene, which suggests that the killer might have been human, since vampires and werewolves and such like don't need knives. So Buffy, Willow, Xander, and Giles go around asking if anyone had any motive to kill the girl, and they all get the same answer. She was last seen talking to the creepy mannequin guy, Morgan. Buffy goes to talk to Morgan, but she ends up interrupting an argument that he's having with the mannequin. And when Buffy asks Morgan about the dead girl, it's the mannequin who answers. And Morgan seems just as surprised as she is, and he doesn't seem to be able to do anything about it.
Morgan, are you okay?
Look, sweetheart, he answered your question. Now leave him alone.
Buffy decides to investigate Morgan, deciding first to look in his locker.
Okay. 2 to the left, 3 to the right.
Well, that's one way to do that. Sometimes you just have to smash things.
2 to the left,
3 to the right. Buffy doesn't find anything in the locker, but later that night the mannequin breaks into her house, indicating that she must be getting too close. The next morning, Cordelia is complaining to Giles about something petty and pointless because, well, this was back in the days before she became a demon goddess, and she was a bit shallow and bitchy back then. Buffy tells the others about how the puppet broke into her house the night before, but they dismiss her claims, saying that it was probably just a cat that came in her window. Which is pretty dumb, really. I mean, this is the Buffyverse, where vampires and ancient magic are real. They should at least be considering the possibility of possessed dolls. In fact, they should have been considering that possibility from the start. But Giles does at least put forward one theory involving the supernatural. All the standard stuff. Brotherhood of 7 demons, blah blah, consume human hearts, blah blah. So later in class, Sid the mannequin talks back to a teacher and gets Morgan in trouble. So the teacher locks Sid in a cabinet. But Sid continues to talk from out of the cabinet, and Morgan seems as surprised as anyone.
Okay then. In the first part of the 19th century...
I'm still watching you.
Morgan, that is enough.
After class, Morgan goes to the teacher to get Sid back, but he's not in the cupboard anymore, because Xander took Sid in order to give Buffy the opportunity to talk to Morgan without his puppet there. And Xander does his shining impression.
Red Rob! Red Rob!
So Buffy goes to talk to Morgan while Xander watches Sid, and Willow and Giles go to do some research in the library. Willow discovers an old book that tells of possessed dolls and mannequins harvesting body parts in order to become human, and she speculates that perhaps Sid the mannequin harvested the dead girl's hearts. But unfortunately the mannequin is gone, because Xander didn't think that he had to keep all that close of an eye on an inanimate object. And to make matters worse, Buffy has just discovered the body of Morgan, who has had his brain removed. Sid attacks Buffy in the dark, dropping a big heavy chandelier on her, but then, just as he's about to kill her, they both do a double take.
You lost, and now you'll never be human.
Yeah, well, neither will you.
What?
It turns out that Sid is not the creature who's been harvesting body parts after all, but rather that he's been trying to capture whoever it is who was. But, just as Buffy assumed that it was Sid who was the harvester, Sid assumed that it was Buffy who was the harvester, and so now neither of them has anything to go on. Sid knows that the demon is the last member of the 7 demons from before, and he says that if he can kill the last member of the 7 demons, he'll be released from the curse that turned him into a puppet. But he has no idea what form the last demon will be in. So with no leads, they have to find some other way of capturing this demon. Just then, Buffy trips over a brain, and they realize that the demon has rejected Morgan's brain due to the presence of brain cancer. And so the demon will be looking to harvest a new brain. Willow is safe with Buffy and Xander, which means that Giles is the next likely target for smartest person to harvest a brain from. And he was helping a student before the show, so he's in danger. With no time to lose, Buffy, Willow, and Xander race down the school corridors, getting there just in time to save him. So the demon reverts back to its demon form, and they use the giant guillotine that the demon was trying to use on Giles to decapitate the demon. And Sid the puppet stabs the demon through the heart, just to make sure it's really dead. Because they're finally getting genre savvy. It's about damn time, really. And then the episode ends with that horrible talent show that the Scoobies couldn't get out of, despite having saved the school. So that was the puppet show. How was it? That was a pretty good episode. Though it was a little strange to go back and see all these characters when they're so young and inexperienced. But still, good episode of a very good series. Well, that's all for now. Until next time, here's your kid-friendly clip of the day.
Come on, Sid. You're spoiling my act. I worked on these jokes for weeks.
You call those jokes? My jockey shorts are made out of better material. And they're edible.